Today, we're going to talk about being a man of his word and why integrity starts with you. Keeping your word is not a personality trait, it's not a productivity hack. It is a spiritual and leadership issue. A man who does not keep his word slowly loses the authority in his home, respect from his wife, respect from his children, the trust from his wife, and confidence in himself. This erosion does not happen overnight. It happens through small, repeated failures to follow through. Now, when was the last time you told yourself you were going to do something and didn't? Now, this is a topic where I know personally I have struggled with in the past. Culturally, it is a topic where many men do not follow through. But there used to be a time in history, the medieval times, the medieval ages, where the word honor meant something. Honor. You were a man of your word. And it was literally considered treason if you were to lie. And now think about that word, treason. Treason implies that you've committed a crime against your state or country. You've turned your back on them. So how has it gone from being a man of your word was treason in the medieval times to today, where it's just something people do and is normalized? So let's put some biblical weight on this. As far as being a man, let's start with opening our Bibles. And Ecclesiastes 5:4-5 says this. I'm going to read it to you. When you make a vow to God, do not delay to fulfill it. It is better not to vow than to make a vow and not fulfill it. So Scripture treats our words as binding commitments, not intentions, because it doesn't matter what our intentions are, it's what our actions. Does the visual match the audio? So God does not separate what you say to him from what you say to yourself. So delay is already disobedience in this passage. So how often are you delaying, or how often do you treat your personal commitments as optional? Let's even look into Matthew 5:37. Matthew 5:37 says, "Let your yes be yes and your no be no." Jesus is directly addressing your integrity, not just speech patterns. A man whose word is unreliable must explain himself constantly. If you ever tell somebody you're going to do something, how often do you stumble and forget what your reasoning was to not follow through? You have to explain yourself if you can't even uphold your own word. And a man of integrity does not need to convince anybody of anything. His life does it for him. Think about that again. A man of integrity does not need to convince anybody of anything. His life does it for him. So we have to keep our word to ourselves first and foremost, because if you cannot keep your word to yourself, you cannot keep it to anyone else. Why would you keep your word to your wife or children or coworkers or anyone else if you can't simply do it to yourself? You know, and men do this all the time, right? I'll start Monday. I'm going to wake up early tomorrow. I'm going to be more patient. I'm going to do that 30-day challenge. I'm going to fast. I'm going to lead better. But every time you break a promise to yourself, you train your nervous system to distrust you. Now, think about that. You can lie to yourself, and your own central nervous system will not even trust you. So now you're creating internal fragmentation. You stop believing yourself. You may say something, and internally you're like, I mean, I know this isn't going to happen, but I'm going to say it anyways. You hesitate before committing. You overpromise and underdeliver. You avoid responsibility. So I want to ask you listening to this, do you even trust your own follow through? Or what patterns do you repeat that you already know you won't finish? And this is a cancer inside the household, because broken promises don't just build distrust, they force other people to compensate. Because if you can't keep your word, somebody else is going to have to hold that household together. So when a man doesn't keep his word, his wife becomes anxious and controlling, purely out of survival. It's not that she wants to. His wife starts reminding, managing, doing it herself, right? We're putting more weight on her. We're taking the bricks out of our pack and putting it in hers. Your children will learn that your words actually don't mean anything. And they may have verbalized this when they were like 5, 4. And now they just know, yeah, what dad says is total bullshit. The respect for you in the household is going to slowly erode. We've all heard of the compound effect. You are compounding into the negative. And this is how men lose leadership without ever being challenged openly. The simple fact of your words hold no weight. And as a man, we need to be a man of honor. It's one of the virtues of masculinity. So I got another verse for you. Let's read this one together. Proverbs 25:19 says, trusting in a treacherous man in time of trouble is like a bad tooth or a foot that slips. Trusting in a treacherous man in a time of trouble is like a bad tooth or foot that slips. So inconsistency in a man is only creating instability. A wife cannot rest under leadership she cannot trust. A home cannot be peaceful when the head of the household is unreliable. So, where has your wife stopped asking because she stopped believing? Right? Has your wife ever just, you're like, man, she just doesn't bring that up anymore? It's probably because she doesn't believe you're actually going to do anything about it. So, let's get into Adam and Eve, right? He was given responsibility, and the cost of passivity got him kicked out of the garden, right? Adam received the commands from God. God specifically told him what to do before Eve ever even came around. Adam failed to act, he failed to intervene, and so God called out to Adam first. God gave him instructions. He said, yes, sir, no problem. I got it. I understand. The second Eve was in a situation, he was like, you know what? That what I told God I was going to follow through on, I'm not gonna. That's what his action said. So leadership isn't about who spoke first, it's about who was responsible. And Adam broke his word to God, and the cost affected everyone under him, every single person. So, where are you present but silent in your home? Where have you failed to follow through on responsibility God already gave you? Yeah. Let's keep getting into the scripture. Let's go John 18:37. For this purpose I was born, and for this purpose I have come into the world. Jesus lived in total alignment with his purpose. What he did what he said, even when it cost him everything. He followed through. Integrity gave him the authority. Authority also gave him peace as a man. So if integrity is rebuilt the same way it's lost, through small, consistent follow throughs, what steps can you take? So here's some rules for rebuilding that trust in your household. And again, if you've been digging a giant hole for X amount of years, don't expect to throw a little dirt in there and it be filled. But from now on, you can start with this. Stop over promising. Understate than overvalue. Over deliver. Sorry. We've all heard of under promise, over deliver. Commit only to what you will do, even when you're tired. Finish what you start. Whoever is faithful with very little is faithful also in much. Luke 16:10. These words that we say, no matter how little, I will take out the trash. I will do this. I'll get to that later. Here's my big plans. And there's no follow through. It ruins your integrity as a man. Puts your wife in the position to take control. Your children are going to grow up accepting the fact that we are flakes. Our words mean nothing. Our words hold no weight. I learned it from my father. Not me literally, but that's what your children are going to say. Your children will do the same thing that you are doing. You're going to create a culture in your household where your word means nothing. No one can rely on you. Now, as a man and part of masculinity, if you don't have any honor, then you're making it vulnerable for the community that you're in, right? Vulnerable means to put oneself in physical harm. So if we can't trust you and your word, you're putting our tribe, our gang, our band of brothers in harm because we can't rely on you and what you say. It's not a roll of the dice if you're going to deliver on your word. It should be like an oak. It should be in stone. You say something, it will happen. Think about the weight that is off your shoulders if you follow through with everything you said and how the people around you would just know. He's the most disciplined, dependable motherfucker I know. If he says he's going to do something, he's going to be there. Now that is a great feeling. He says he's going to do something and he follows through no matter what. He says he's going to mow the lawn. It gets mowed. He says that he'll, would die for his children. He puts in the work every single day, not just when it matters. He says he's going to do this and he does it. Now, again, I started this off with, I've struggled with this in my past, but it's been a real eye opener for me. And this is something that I've intentionally look at every single day. What am I saying? What is the follow through? What is the impact if I don't? The impact is always a negative one on me and my name. The example I set for my wife, the example I set for my sons. the reliability for those around me. So each and every day, this is something I'm consciously aware of. Now, I want to challenge you to be consciously aware of this as well. Stay tuned for another episode. Put in any comments on any other topics you want me to address.